Deep in the void of space, far beyond the edge of known human colonies, the fleet of the United Earth Expedition drifted silently. Stars sparkled like distant diamonds, cold and indifferent, while the vast emptiness whispered secrets no one dared to hear. Captain Elena Ward stood on the bridge of command ship Aurora, her eyes scanning the endless black through reinforced viewports. The fleet had been traveling for weeks with no contact, no signals, no signs of life. Silence was expected, but even silence had a weight, a pressure that pressed on the mind. Then, suddenly, the monitors blinked. A soft, distorted sound rippled across the communication screens. At first, it seemed like a glitch, a harmless interference from the sensors. But as the sound repeated, growing louder and more structured, the crew realized it was something else. Something alive. "Captain," Lieutenant Reza called, his voice tight. "You need to hear this." Elena leaned forward, and the faint tones of the transmission filled the bridge. At first, they were just strange pulses, irregular and uneven, like a heartbeat in a distant chest. Then patterns emerged, deliberate, intelligent. Someone or something was sending a message. "It's an SOS," Reza said, almost in disbelief. "It's alien. Definitely not ours." The bridge went quiet. Even the usual hum of the ship's engines seemed to fade under the weight of what they had just heard. Every officer stared at the screen, understanding the danger. An alien SOS was not a simple distress call. It was a sign of life reaching out from the darkness. And in the void, reaching out could be deadly. "Can we trace it?" Elena asked, her voice calm, though tension coiled in her chest. Reza's fingers flew over the console. "It's coming from a sector outside known charts, a rogue planet orbiting a dead star. Gravity readings are unstable, and the surrounding asteroid field is hazardous." The fleet commander's eyes narrowed. A rogue planet in uncharted space meant danger. Many ships had disappeared in similar regions, devoured by gravity wells or destroyed by unknown forces. But an SOS? That was a temptation no human could ignore. Elena's mind raced. To ignore the call would be safe, but it would go against everything humanity had become. Curiosity, bravery, the drive to explore, it was in their blood. Yet, answering could bring death. "Bring the fleet to cautious formation," she ordered. "We investigate, but stay alert. This could be a trap." As the ships adjusted their positions, the SOS pulses began to change. The rhythm grew faster, sharper, almost personal. The signals carried fragments of sound that seemed to mimic human frequencies. Whispers in the darkness. Names. Places. Even the fleet's call signs. "Impossible," muttered Science Officer Kira. "It knows we are here." "How?" Elena's jaw tightened. That was the first rule of space. Nothing was supposed to know you before you were close enough to see it. And yet, this SOS seemed to anticipate them. "Keep scanning," she said, her mind trying to solve a puzzle that had no edges. "I want every pattern analyzed. Every pulse, every shift." Hours passed. The fleet moved closer to the source, navigating through jagged asteroids that could rip a ship apart with a single miscalculation. The SOS continued, growing stronger with every parsec. And then it happened. A shockwave of sound and light that made the hulls of ships vibrate, shaking loose equipment in the storage bays. The bridge fell silent again, everyone holding their breath. The SOS was no longer just a call for help. It was a message, a warning, a lure. Something powerful lay ahead, and it was aware of them. Then, the first sign of movement appeared. On the distant sensors, tiny blips darted between asteroids, shapes too large to be debris, too fast to be natural. The fleet scanners could not identify them. "Captain," Reza said, voice tight, "we're not alone. Something is out there, watching." Elena's eyes hardened. "Prepare weapons, raise shields. But no shots unless I give the order. We don't know what we're facing yet." As Aurora edged closer to the source, the SOS pulses formed a pattern that made the crew's blood run cold. It was no longer just signals. It was speech, calling to them, calling humanity. The void around them seemed to close in, a darkness filled with anticipation. Every officer felt it. The impossible weight of being watched. A voice in the endless black, older than any star, stronger than any fleet, reaching across light years to touch them. And Captain Elena Ward realized something terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. Humanity had been noticed. The universe had finally spoken to them. And whatever lay at the end of that signal was about to change everything. The SOS grew louder, a crescendo in the quiet vacuum, carrying both hope and warning. Elena looked at her crew and nodded. We go in. No turning back. The Aurora led the fleet into the unknown, toward a signal that promised salvation or destruction. And somewhere in the void, unseen eyes watched them, calculating, waiting, listening. The rogue planet loomed ahead, a dark, jagged silhouette against the faint glow of its dying star. Its surface was scarred with craters and fissures, and storms of dust swirled in unpredictable patterns. The human fleet held its formation, engines humming quietly, shields ready, as the SOS continued to pulse, faster and sharper now. Captain, Lieutenant Reza said, pointing to the sensor screens. We've got movement, multiple large ships approaching. Elena squinted at the displays. The shapes were unlike anything she had seen. Towering, angular, black as obsidian, their hulls bristled with weapons. The scanners identified them as intelligent, but not human, not anything known to the fleet. Deathworlders, whispered Science Officer Kira, her voice trembling. Legends say they are merciless hunters. Entire colonies wiped out without warning. If they detect us, they won't hesitate. Elena's hand tightened around the console. How many? She asked. Reza's face was grim. At least a dozen capital ships, dozens of smaller ones. They're surrounding the planet. The fleet fell into tense silence. Humanity had faced danger before, but nothing like this. The Deathworlders were not merely invaders. They were predators. They studied, calculated, and struck with lethal precision. Lieutenant, keep a steady course toward the SOS source, Elena ordered, but maintain defensive patterns. We cannot show weakness. As the Aurora and accompanying vessels advanced, the Deathworlders did not attack. At first, they watched, encircling the rogue planet like shadows waiting to strike. The fleet's sensors picked up faint energy pulses from the alien ships. Communication signals, complex and indecipherable, almost like a warning in the silence. Suddenly, a smaller scout ship from the Deathworlders darted toward the human fleet. Faster than anything the humans had intercepted, it glided through the asteroid field with terrifying grace. Evasive maneuvers. Elena shouted, "All ships, engage thrusters." The fleet twisted and turned between jagged asteroids, narrowly avoiding collisions. The scout fired energy beams that scorched the void, missing human ships by mere meters. The bridge shook as shields absorbed the impact. Crew members gripped consoles, teeth clenched, hearts pounding. "They're testing us," Kira said quietly. "They want to see how we react." Elena nodded. "Then we give them a show. But we do not fire first. Stay alert." Minutes passed like hours. The Deathworlder scouts flitted between asteroids, disappearing and reappearing, always observing. The fleet moved closer to the SOS signal, deeper into the rogue planet's gravitational pull. Every maneuver required precision. One wrong move could send a ship crashing into a moon-sized rock. Then the SOS signal changed. A voice, or something like a voice, emerged from the pulses. It spoke in broken fragments of human languages, naming crew members, calling out to them. It was urgent, pleading, and unmistakably intelligent. "Captain," Reza said, voice tight. "It's asking for help. But there's something else, fear. I can sense it. Something wants to stop us from reaching it." Elena's heart raced. The signal was no longer just a call for aid. It was a trap, or a warning, or both. She felt the weight of every decision pressing down on her. Push forward, and risk encountering the Deathworlders head-on. Retreat and leave a species, maybe an entire civilization, to die. Hold formation. Elena ordered, "We go in carefully, step by step. No rash moves." But we answer the call. As the fleet navigated the asteroid field, a massive shadow appeared from the planet's dark side. A Deathworlder battleship. Colossal in size, hung in space like a predator stalking its prey. Its weapons arrays glowed faintly, threatening. Sensors could barely detect all of its features. So large, so alien, it seemed almost unreal. Reza's voice dropped. They're ready to strike. One move wrong and we're finished. Elena stared at the massive vessel, unflinching. Humanity had faced impossible odds before. They had survived storms, cosmic hazards, and alien threats. The courage and ingenuity of her crew would be their weapon. Prepare boarding craft, she said. We may need to see the source of the SOS up close. Keep shields at maximum, weapons ready. We move as one fleet, and we will not break. The rogue planet's gravity tugged at the fleet, pulling them closer into the Deathworlders' trap. The pulse of the SOS grew louder, more insistent, almost as if it knew the danger that approached. Somewhere in that darkness lay a truth, and perhaps a key to survival. The Deathworlders were patient, waiting, circling. Their immense ships loomed closer, scanning, calculating. Humanity's fleet was small, vulnerable, but determined. And in that silent moment before inevitable confrontation, the void itself seemed to hold its breath. Elena clenched her fists. We move forward. We face whatever comes. Humanity does not hide from the dark. The first battle between curiosity and death was about to begin, and the universe held its breath. The rogue planet loomed larger with every passing moment, its surface a jagged expanse of craters and shadowed valleys. The human fleet edged closer, every ship tense, every crew member alert. The SOS pulses had grown urgent, almost frantic, vibrating through the communication systems and echoing in the minds of those who listened. Captain, Lieutenant Reza said, his finger trembling over the console, I've never seen anything like this. The SOS is almost alive. It's reacting to us. Elena's eyes narrowed. Alive or intelligent. There's a difference. Prepare a small team for a reconnaissance mission. We go in cautiously. I want to know who or what is calling for help. A single shuttle, armed but sleek, detached from the Aurora, carrying Elena, Reza, and 2 other specialists. The shuttle glided through the asteroid field, weaving around massive chunks of rock that could crush them in seconds. Every sensor blip made the crew's heart skip a beat. As they approached the source of the SOS, the planet's surface shifted in ways that seemed almost deliberate. Towers of jagged rock rose like fingers, and lightning, green, unnatural, cracked the dark sky. And then they saw it. A crashed alien ship, enormous and twisted, half buried in the planet's scarred surface. Elena swallowed hard. The ship was unlike anything in human archives. Sleek, black, organic yet metallic, with structures that seemed to breathe. The SOS had come from there. Scan it, she ordered. The shuttle sensors flickered. Life signs, small, faint, but unmistakable. And then movement. Something emerged from the wreckage. At first, it was just shadows, shifting shapes. Then, a figure stepped forward, tall, thin, with translucent skin that shimmered faintly. Its eyes glowed a soft violet, intelligent and aware. The crew froze. The alien's gestures were hesitant, almost fragile, as if it had never seen another being before. It raised a limb, not as a weapon, but in a greeting. Elena stepped forward slowly. We come in peace, she said, voice steady but gentle. We received your SOS. We are here to help. The alien's head tilted. It spoke, not in words, but in pulses, telepathic signals that Reza's translator barely captured. Danger, death, watch. Kira gasped. It's warning us about someone else. The SOS, it's a trap for the wrong species. Elena's mind raced. The Deathworlders. They had circled the planet, patient, waiting. This small, stranded species had sent the SOS as both a plea and a warning. But to whom? Suddenly, the alien's vessel shuddered. Energy readings spiked. The SOS pulses intensified, now almost screaming across the void. The shuttle trembled under a sudden wave of force. Shields! Elena shouted. Something's coming. Outside, the void seemed to twist. Dark shapes darted between asteroids, the Deathworlders. They had noticed the shuttle. They were moving in fast and deliberate, weapons charged. The alien creature emitted a high-pitched pulse. Reza looked at the readings. Captain, it's trying to communicate with the Deathworlders. Maybe trying to stop them. Elena realized the truth. This SOS was not just a call for help. It was a trap, a message, and a plea. The stranded aliens' technology contained knowledge or power that could shift the balance of the entire sector. And the Deathworlders wanted it. Prepare for extraction. Elena ordered, we get this alien to safety. And we take whatever we can from its ship. Humanity will not fail here. The alien seemed to understand. It moved carefully toward the shuttle, its glowing eyes fixed on the humans. As it entered, it reached out, touching console. Instantly, the shuttle sensors lit up, revealing hidden compartments, strange energy cores, and AI interface unlike anything humans had seen. The alien's pulse carried a final message, urgent and desperate. Trust, danger, must survive. Elena nodded. We'll survive. We always survive. Outside, the Deathworlders were closing in. The void was alive with tension. Every moment counted. One wrong move, and the shuttle and the fleet would be destroyed. But inside, humanity had made contact. A fragile, alien intelligence had reached out across the void. And for the first time in years, hope glimmered against the endless black. Elena gripped the controls, eyes on the approaching threat. Hold steady, she whispered. We're not just surviving, we're fighting for life itself. And we will not fail. The shuttle surged forward, weaving through asteroid fields, carrying the alien the SOS and humanity's first real chance to face the void and perhaps to triumph. The fleet had regrouped after the shuttle's daring return. The alien, still trembling from its ordeal, was safely aboard the Aurora. Its strange pulses filled the ship's communication systems, a mixture of warning and gratitude. Humanity had survived the first test, but the void held more dangers than the crew could imagine. Captain, Lieutenant Reza said, studying the sensors, the Deathworlders are regrouping. They're analyzing the fleet's movements. They'll strike soon. Elena nodded. We need a plan, not just survival. But first, her eyes scanned the bridge. I want every crew member monitored. No mistakes. This alien's warning was clear. Danger comes from more than just them. Unbeknownst to the captain, someone on the fleet had already made their decision. Commander Dallin, second in command of the expedition, lingered near a console, his face calm, almost too calm. While the fleet prepared for battle, Dallin had been sending encrypted messages across the void, signals intercepted by the Deathworlders. Everything is ready, he murmured into a concealed transmitter. The humans will do the rest. Below, the alien ship's energy core pulsed softly, mysterious and powerful. It contained knowledge, technology, and perhaps a weapon. Dallin knew the Deathworlders wanted it, and he craved the promise of power. Humanity would pay no mind. He would ensure that. Suddenly, alarms blared. The fleet shook violently as several ships experienced unexplained system failures. Lights flickered, engines faltered, shields dropped. Panic rippled through the bridge. What's happening? Elena shouted, gripping the console. Reza's face paled. Sabotage. Someone is interfering with our systems. It's intentional. Elena's eyes scanned every officer. Doubt and disbelief spread across the bridge. Find the source. Now. As technicians worked frantically, Dallin moved quietly, masking his actions behind routine checks. His pulse was calm, almost smug. He had calculated every move. The Deathworlders would be impressed. Humanity, he thought, was about to crumble from within. Outside, the Deathworlders were preparing their attack. Massive warships emerged from the shadows, weapons glowing with lethal intent. Their scouts had confirmed the fleet's weaknesses, thanks to Dallin's betrayal. Elena felt the familiar weight of leadership crush her chest. Every choice mattered. One false step in the fleet, and the alien they had sworn to protect would be destroyed. Damage reports, she barked. Shields down on the Orion and Vanguard, Reza replied. Engines failing across 3 ships. Someone is opening pathways for the Deathworlders. It's too precise to be chance. Elena's jaw tightened. Dallin. Before anyone could react, Dallin stepped forward, face calm. Captain, we must consider the fleet's survival. Perhaps cooperation with our new visitors is the smarter path. Kira's voice was sharp. You're insane. You're aiding the Deathworlders. Dallin smiled faintly. Survival is relative, science officer. Humanity cannot hold the void alone. Some choices must be made. Elena's fists clenched. We fight, not betray. If you value your life, step aside. The moment of hesitation was all the Deathworlders needed. From the void, a beam of energy struck the fleet, scorching the outer hull of the Aurora. Sparks flew, alarms screamed, and the crew struggled to stabilize the ship. Return fire. Elena commanded. Engage all remaining weapons. Protect the alien at all costs. Reyes' fingers flew over the controls. Shields flared as weapons fired, blasting asteroids and enemy ships alike. Yet, the saboteur's influence made every defense fragile, every move uncertain. The alien aboard the Aurora pulsed violently, reacting to the chaos. Its telepathic signals were urgent, almost frantic. Danger, inside, not all human. Elena realized the truth in a heartbeat. The Deathworlders were deadly, yes, but betrayal from within was worse. The fleet could survive the enemy outside, but a humanity fractured from within, everything was lost. She looked at Dallin, eyes blazing. You're a traitor, and I swear you will not win. Dallin's calm expression faltered for just a moment. In that moment, Elena saw a path. The crew, united, could overcome both the alien threat and the betrayal in their midst. Lock down the inner decks, she shouted. Isolate the saboteur. Every ship secure. Humanity fights together or we all die. Outside, the void waited. The Deathworlders circled closer, massive and menacing. But inside the fleet, a battle of trust, loyalty, and courage had begun. Humanity would not yield to fear, nor to betrayal. Not today. And somewhere in the darkness, the alien's energy core pulsed stronger, as if sensing the determination of its new protectors. A new battle was beginning, not just against a void, but for the soul of humanity itself. The void around the rogue planet trembled as the human fleet faced the Deathworlders. Asteroids drifted silently, like tombstones of forgotten worlds, as massive warships emerged from the shadows. Their weapons glowed ominously, ready to unleash devastation. Captain Elena Ward gripped the console of the Aurora, her eyes scanning every blip, every pulse. The saboteur had been locked down, but the fleet remained vulnerable. Every ship, every crew member, knew that failure meant annihilation. Engage defensive patterns. Elena ordered, protect the alien and its core at all costs. No ship falls alone. The first volley struck. Energy beams tore through space, lighting up asteroids as shields flared and sparks flew across human hulls. Explosions rocked the smaller ships, tossing them like toys in the void. The Deathworlders were brutal, precise, and merciless. Lieutenant Reza shouted from the sensors. They're targeting the alien ship. Its core is exposed. If they reach it, Elena's heart pounded. The SOS core held knowledge and power beyond comprehension. It could be a weapon, a tool, or a key to survival. Losing it was not an option. Flank them. Elena commanded. Use the asteroid field. Hit and retreat. Keep the core safe. Human ships weave between massive rocks, firing plasma cannons and energy pulses. The Deathworlders adapted quickly, their massive vessels calculating intercepts with terrifying accuracy. For every shot fired, humans found another path, another way to survive. Ingenuity became their weapon. Science Officer Kira monitored the alien's core. Captain, it's responding. The energy pulse, it can disrupt enemy shields. We can use it. Elena nodded. Then we use it carefully. We don't destroy it. We protect it. But we fight with every advantage we have. The alien, trembling but resolute, pulsed with energy that sent shockwaves through the surrounding void. The fleet felt the difference immediately. Deathworlder shields flickered, weapons misfired, and their formations wavered. Now! Elena shouted. Fire volleys. Target openings. Human ships surged forward, striking with precision, weaving around asteroids and using the Deathworlders' confusion to their advantage. Every move was calculated, every sacrifice counted. Humanity was outnumbered, but not outsmarted. Yet the battle was far from over. One massive Deathworlder battleship broke through the asteroid cover, its weapons charging for a devastating strike. It was enormous, black, and terrifying, dwarfing every human vessel nearby. Divert power to forward shields. Elena ordered. Everyone brace. The impact shook the Aurora, sending sparks flying across the bridge. Crew members held onto consoles, hearts racing. Outside, ships clashed in blinding beams of energy and fire. The alien's core pulsed again, sending a focused wave that disabled the massive Deathworlder vessel for a brief moment. Human ships took advantage, striking hard at its hull. Sparks, smoke, and debris filled the void as the massive ship faltered. "Keep pushing," Elena roared. "We fight for every second." Humanity does not retreat. Minutes felt like hours as the fleet maneuvered, attacked, and defended. Human ingenuity, courage, and determination turned the tide, even as losses mounted. Every officer, every crew member, understood that this was more than a battle. It was proof that humanity could survive, even against the deadliest adversaries in the galaxy. Finally, the Deathworlders faltered. Their formations broke. Their assaults grew disorganized. They retreated slowly, calculating, wary of the alien's core and the human fleet's tenacity. The rogue planet fell silent again, save for the hum of damaged ships and the alien's soft, pulsing glow. Elena exhaled, exhaustion and relief mixing. "Status report," she demanded. "Damage is severe," Reza replied. "Several ships disabled, minor casualties, but the core, it's safe. The Deathworlders are retreating for now." The alien pulsed once more, as if acknowledging humanity's victory. Its voice, telepathic, fragile, echoed in the minds of crew. "You survive for now." Elena looked at her fleet, battered but unbroken. "Humanity fights," she whispered. "We fight for life, for hope, for what is right. Today, we prove we are not helpless in the void." But even as the fleet celebrated small victories, the shadow of what lay ahead lingered. The alien's core was powerful, yes, but the Deathworlders would return. And beyond them, the universe held threats humanity had yet to imagine. In the void, silence returned, heavier than before, carrying the pulse of the SOS, the remnants of battle and a warning. Survival was only the beginning. The rogue planet lay silent once more, scarred by the clash of human courage and Deathworlder might. The fleet floated among drifting debris, engines humming weakly, shields flickering. The alien, still aboard the Aurora, pulsed with energy, its strange light illuminating the bridge in soft, eerie glows. Science Officer Kira leaned over the alien's core console, her eyes wide. "Captain, this core is more than a power source. It's intelligence, sentient intelligence. It can think, plan, even manipulate energy and matter. Everything the Deathworlders were after, it's here." Elena's eyes narrowed. Manipulate energy. How much control? Could it destroy ships? Planets? Kira swallowed. Potentially. But it could also create. Heal. Build. It's beyond our understanding. The alien pulsed again, stronger this time, and the soft telepathic signals flowed into Elena's mind. Danger, misuse, must survive, choice. Reza stepped forward, tension visible. "Captain, if the Deathworlders return, they won't stop. They'll take it, maybe destroy everything if they fail. But if we use it, we could win, and the threat permanently." Elena clenched her fists. Every option felt heavy with consequence. The core's power was immense, almost godlike. Use it, and humanity could alter the balance of the galaxy. But at what cost? Misuse it, and they could become the very threat they were fighting against. The alien pulsed urgently. "Do not misuse, protect, guide." Its warning was clear. The intelligence did not want to be a weapon. It wanted survival and, perhaps, wisdom. A new alert sounded. Sensors detected a faint return of Deathworlder ships, regrouping at the edge of the system. Their intent was unmistakable. They would come back stronger and more determined. Elena's mind raced. The fleet was damaged. The Deathworlders returning, and the core, sentient, powerful yet fragile, rested in their hands. Every choice was a test of humanity's character. Prepare defenses, she ordered. We cannot allow them to reach the core. But we do not fire it as a weapon unless there is no other choice. Reza frowned. Captain, if we can use it strategically, we could end this conflict before it escalates. We could save lives. Elena shook her head. And become tyrants in the process? No. We fight as humans, not as gods. We protect what is alive, not destroy what we fear. The alien pulsed again, almost approvingly. Its intelligence seemed to understand her decision. It reached out through the interface, sharing patterns, energy flows, and calculations. Not to harm, but to assist. It offered knowledge, insight, guidance, but always with limits, always with caution. Kira watched the readings in awe. It's helping us think ahead, predicting Deathworlder strategies, showing weak points, ways to survive. Elena nodded. Then we use it for survival, not conquest. Humanity can fight with intelligence, courage, and unity. We don't need godlike power to survive. We need heart. The bridge was tense. Every officer understood the weight of this moment. The alien core was no mere tool. It was a partner, a guide, and a test of humanity's ethics. From the void, the Deathworlders advanced, unaware of the core's intelligence influencing human strategies. Their formations were precise, but the humans anticipated, maneuvered, and defended with clever tactics, avoiding annihilation. Minutes stretched like hours. Every move mattered. Every decision was life or death. And through it all, the alien pulsed, not as a weapon, but as a guardian, helping humanity navigate the storm without tipping the balance of morality. Finally, the Deathworlders faltered, retreating once again. Their ships, though not destroyed, were battered, and the fleet held its ground. The alien's core pulsed softly, a silent heartbeat of victory and caution. Elena exhaled, exhaustion mixed with relief. We survived, she said quietly. Not by power, but by staying human. Courage, loyalty, unity. That's what won today. The alien pulsed once more, telepathic signals clear. You are worthy for now. Threats remain, but you can survive together. In the cold, dark void, humanity had faced betrayal, war, and unimaginable power, and had chosen wisely. The core was safe, the alien alive, and the Deathworlders, at least for now, defeated. Yet Elena knew this was only the beginning. The universe held secrets far older and more dangerous than even the Deathworlders. And humanity, with courage and intelligence, would face them without becoming the monsters they fought against. The rogue planet hung silently in space, scarred from the battles that had raged around it. The human fleet drifted, battered but unbroken. The alien's core pulsed softly aboard the Aurora, a quiet heartbeat of intelligence and power. Every officer on the bridge understood the weight of what they held, a force that could save or destroy, depending on how it was used. Captain Elena Ward stood at the console, eyes scanning the stars. The Deathworlders had retreated, but their return was inevitable. And beyond them, unknown threats waited in the dark expanses of space. Humanity had survived, but survival alone was not enough. Status report. Elena ordered. Lieutenant Reza spoke, voice steady despite the tension. Fleet damage is manageable. Alien core stable. Deathworlder forces retreating, but they are regrouping. Sensors detect potential reinforcements beyond the system. Science Officer Kira added, the alien's core can guide us, predict movements, calculate outcomes, even help us strategize against overwhelming odds. But it cannot fight for us. That choice is ours. Elena nodded. She understood the core's lesson. Power alone did not decide the outcome of war. Courage, intelligence, and unity did. Humanity had been tested, not just by enemies, but by choices. Prepare a tactical plan, Elena said. We'll use the core to defend, not to destroy. We fight smart, not ruthless. Every ship, every crew member, acts as one. Humanity will face them as humans, not gods. The fleet moved into formation, guided by the alien intelligence. Maneuvers were precise, calculated, avoiding unnecessary risks while maximizing their effectiveness. The Deathworlder scouts returned, but the humans anticipated each move. Every ambush was countered. Every attack met with ingenuity and courage. The alien pulsed gently, sharing insights without dominating. It guided, advised, and warned, but left decisions to humanity. Elena felt a surge of pride, not in the alien's power, but in her crew's skill, discipline, and bravery. Suddenly, sensors detected a massive Deathworlder assault fleet approaching from the dark. Dozens of ships, immense and terrifying, moved with deadly precision. The fleet could not win by brute force alone. Every human officer knew the risk of defeat, but also the cost of hesitation. "Remember who we are," Elena said quietly. "Humanity fights with heart, with intelligence, and with unity. Today, we make the choice to survive and to protect life." The battle erupted. Energy beams lit the void, asteroids exploded, and ships danced between death and destruction. Human tactics, guided by courage and foresight, outmaneuvered the Deathworlders at every turn. Sacrifices were made, ships damaged, but humanity's resolve did not falter. The alien's core pulsed one final time, sending a focused energy wave that disrupted the Deathworlder command vessels without harming life aboard. Confused and battered, the Deathworlders began to retreat, their formations collapsing. The fleet had turned the tide, not through raw power, but through courage, strategy, and unity. Elena exhaled, her gaze sweeping over the surviving fleet. "We did it," she said, "not because we had the power to destroy, but because we had the will to survive and to protect." The alien pulsed softly, a gesture of approval. Its voice resonated in their minds. "You are worthy. You chose wisely. Danger remains, but your courage will guide you." As the rogue planet faded behind them, the fleet moved forward into the unknown, stronger, wiser, and united. Humanity had faced betrayal, overwhelming odds, and unimaginable power, and had chosen the path of honor, intelligence, and bravery. The void was vast, silent, and full of dangers yet unseen. But Captain Elena Ward and her crew knew one truth. Humanity, when brave, smart, and united, could face anything, even the darkness between the stars. And somewhere, beyond the reach of their sensors, new threats watched, waiting. But humanity had learned a lesson the void could not take away. Together, they would survive and perhaps thrive, no matter what came. The pulse of the alien core echoed in their minds, a reminder and a promise. Courage, unity, and wisdom will light your way through the void. Humanity had chosen, and the universe would remember. The fleet had repaired most of its damage, but the scars of battle lingered. The rogue planet receded behind them, its dark surface now calm, almost deceptive. The alien core pulsed quietly aboard the Aurora, no longer frantic but alert. Its intelligence had learned to trust humanity, yet it remained wary. Captain Elena Ward stood on the bridge, eyes scanning the black expanse. The Deathworlders were gone, but the void was vast, and silence rarely meant safety. "Captain," Lieutenant Reza said, pointing at the sensors, "we're picking up faint signals, unmarked, fast-moving ships. They're not Deathworlders, at least not the ones we know." Elena frowned. Unknown origin. Stealth technology. Could be scouts or worse. Alert the fleet. Full battle readiness. The crew moved quickly, reinforcing shields, recalibrating weapons, and preparing for any encounter. Even the alien pulsed nervously, as if warning of something the sensors could not detect. Science Officer Kira leaned over a console. "These readings are ancient. Energy signatures predate even our oldest records. Something older than any known civilization, and they're heading straight for us." The fleet fell silent. Every officer felt the weight of the moment. Humanity had survived Deathworlders, betrayal, and unimaginable power, but this was different. This was the unknown, the kind of threat that made even seasoned veterans uneasy. Elena's jaw tightened. "We've faced impossible odds before. We survive. That's what humanity does. Prepare the alien core for integration with our systems. If they're hostile, we need every advantage." The unknown ships grew larger on the sensors, strange and angular, their designs unlike anything seen before. Shadows in the void moved with purpose, silent but undeniably aware. Suddenly, one of the alien pulses intensified, almost shouting a warning. Not alone, danger beyond comprehension. Reza's voice was tense. "Captain, they're scanning us calculating. Their movement is deliberate. They know we're here. Elena nodded. Maintain formation. Stay calm. Humanity has survived the void before, and we will do it again. The fleet held its position as the alien core projected energy patterns, guiding maneuvers, predicting potential attacks. Human courage, intelligence, and unity worked hand in hand with this new ally. Yet the unknown threat pressed forward, its intentions unclear. Brace for contact, Elena said quietly. Whatever comes, we face it together. Humanity will not break. In the endless black, the void seemed to shift, whispering secrets of civilizations lost, powers unknown, and dangers yet unseen. Humanity's pulse quickened, not from fear, but from determination. The universe was vast and merciless, yet brave hearts and sharp minds would light the way. And somewhere beyond the edge of known space, eyes older than the stars watched, waiting and calculating the next move. The journey was far from over.